Another Battlefield live stream from me, Cut of the Courageous. We're going to go check out the Battlefield 5 reveal trailer live here with reaction. Let's head on over there now and see what is going on. There we go, guys. Welcome to the stream, guys. This is Battlefield 942. It's going to take us through all the old Battlefield titles here.
Welcome everyone to the Battlefield V live reveal. I'm your host for this evening, Trevor Noah, and I'm so excited to be here introducing this new edition of Battlefield, which for some reason everyone has already assumed is Battlefield V. And not Battlefield V. Could be V, why not V? Battlefield V could be just as good. Yeah, I do love that fans on Twitter are actually changing the V's in their profiles for this game, something my mother did many years ago ahead of the curve. And most people don't know this, but the V in my name is actually a 5. Yeah, my name is actually pronounced Trev5 or Noah. Very unique. As a huge fan of these games, I've always loved how captivating the Battlefield is. And today, you'll see that Battlefield 5 has the most immersive Battlefield ever. If you've ever been in a battle with me, you know that I'm the most dedicated support class you will ever meet. I'm in the mud, repairing the tanks. You know, I'm laying down mines as tank rushers come in. One time, I even repaired a plane mid-air that might be alive, but I'm sticking with it. Because you see, I love that glorious joy of being the uncelebrated hero in a battle. And this game is going to have tons of moments like that. There are so many new and exciting features coming to you in Battlefield 5 that you will learn about today. The next level of large-scale multiplayer, Battlefield 5 single-player war stories, and we'll start showing you the epic post-launch journey all players will experience when the game is finally released. And you know we've got some other surprises, so why waste time? Let's get straight into it and get the show started. I'm joined now by the producers of Battlefield 5, Andreas Morell, Ryan MacArthur, and Lars Gustafsson, everybody.
Yeah, boy. Here they are, the boys.
Gentlemen, I'm not here as a professional anything. I am here as a gamer. I am here as a Battlefield player. I am here to ask only the questions I am interested in. You have made a horrible mistake.
I knew it, I told you.
Let's start at the beginning. You are taking players back to where the Battlefield franchise started, World War II. Now, at this point, are you like those guys, you know, those elderly pilots that they find on an island in the Pacific, you know, who think that the war never ends?
There you go, guys, confirmed World War II.
It did. It ended. You told me. Wish I'd break it to you gently, Lars.
But Lars, why go back to that now?
To be honest with you, it's really, I mean, we yearned for years to go back to where it all started about 16 years ago. And, you know, technology has evolved and the team has gained so much experience that this is really the game we wanted to build, and that we did.
It's really something the guys back home at Dice.
Wow, look
really
at those screenshots.
About the whole era. Just ask Mr. Battlefield,
Oh,
he was there.
Right, Mr. Battlefield, that's Lars's nickname, by the way. I'm known as Madame Battlefield. Now, players have experienced World War II in so many movies and in games. It's really difficult to come up with a new and fresh perspective. What perspective are you bringing to it with this version of Battlefield? Andreas, will this be more Saving Private Ryan or Inglourious Basterds?
So we've seen all the movies, you know, we play the games, we've been there. I'm pretty sure at least I can navigate half of France without a map just by playing the games. so for us, going back to where it all began for us is really about delivering a World War II experience that no one's never seen before. Really kind of hitting on the unseen locations, the untold stories, the unplayed.
Welcome to the stream, guys.
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's really
Chrissy,
taking
welcome
you
to
on
the
the
stream.
journey from the start. And at a go, you will be able to play the German forces, the British forces, and we want to take you on that journey, you know, to exotic places like freezing Scandinavia, it's kind of our home turf, but in Norway, or rugged deserts where the battles took place in northern Africa, or why not to the ruins of the once so beautiful Rotterdam. So it's really to take you on a journey, and we want to do this with a kind of a fresh and modern take.
Guys, can you just
to
put a
really hopefully
thumbs up in the
surprise
live
the
chat if you
players,
can
but
hear
also
me?
to please them.
You've given me a sneak peek, and so many words come to my mind. I mean, intense, immense, powerful. Ryan, do you have a specific way that you want players to see this Battlefield?
Well, I think the best way we can describe it is immersive. I mean, this needs to feel like the most immersive Battlefield that players have ever played. I mean, we want them to exploit the Battlefield in ways they've never been able to before. I mean, when you look at the chaotic multiplayer that the franchise is known for, and sort of fan classics like Conquest, and some of the new modes that the guys are working on like Airborne, you know, we're going back with War Stories, sort of that anthology storytelling that we had, we built in BF1, and telling new stories about men and women that change history. I mean, we get to tell everyone today that co-op is back in Battlefield 5.
Can you guys hear me?
Let
Let me know in the live chat if you can hear me. Just someone
this
put
is
yes
just the
if you can
beginning. I
hear
mean,
me.
launch is just the beginning for this game, and we really want to take players on a journey through World War II.
It always feels like it's a journey.
Sweet.
That's what it always feels
Cheers,
like with
broken.
Battlefield. Like, one thing I loved about the game was how the maps and the world was constantly changing. You know, it felt like my bedroom at home. I never knew what to expect. And I think when looking at this game, Andreas, what's your vision to take this to the next level?
So we're really building on what we started with previous games. It's really about giving players the most immersive world that they could enter. You should really be grounded in it. Expanding on the movement set that we've done so well, really pushing all these new features that we're going to be talking about.
Just agreed.
Right,
I'm so
it
hyped too.
sounds
We're all
great.
hyped. 21 minutes until the
I'm
official
genuinely excited. I
trailer
have a
comes
few highlights that I'm
on
looking
our
forward to.
screens.
Let's dive into it.
Hit
and
the
talk
like
about
button,
some
guys,
of
if
the
you're enjoying
gameplay.
it.
Here to do that is Daniel Berlin.
In Battlefield 5, we're expanding the toolbox for the player, giving you access to new abilities to create your own and brand new Battlefield moments. Now there's a deeper connection between the player and the world around you. You will be physically pushed by the shockwaves
What
from
did I
explosions.
do? Welcome to the stream, buddy.
You can experience
Abel, welcome
completely
back,
new
baby.
ways
World War
to
II,
traverse
let's go.
and tactically maneuver across the battlefield
We knew it
with our
would be. We
overhauled
knew it
movement
would
system.
be.
Our renowned destruction will rip up the terrain, leave chunks of masonry hanging from destroyed buildings, or have high-caliber rounds ripped straight through walls to take out enemies hiding inside.
Oh, yeah.
We're also bringing back classic modes, such as Majority Rule Conquest, but we also have new modes and experiences for our unique take on World War II. We're bringing back operations with a bang, and we're calling it Grand Operations.
Ooh.
Here, you'll experience multiple game modes as you fight over multiple maps, all wrapped within our narrative journey through historically inspired battles from World War II.
Some of this artwork is insane.
With the return of our anthology format for single-player war stories, with new characters to meet and untold stories to discover. Back to you, Trevor.
Now, Daniel just talked about a new multiplayer experience called Grand Operations. And I'm really excited because it sounds to me like you can pilot a giant grand piano like a tank. I'm pretty certain that's what it is, right, Andreas?
I'm not sure about the piano, but it's definitely massive.
Trevor Noah guy is an absolute idiot, isn't
It's
he?
really about reliving all these power fantasies from World War II, like Airborne being power dropped in, and it's operations from Battlefield 1, but bigger. It's really good.
Operations,
Yeah, I
but
mean,
bigger,
we want
let's
players
go.
to feel like it's sort of a
Let's get
dynamic
this,
player
let's get
impacted
it.
experience, taking place over 4 fictional days. I mean, day one starts with you jumping out of an airplane and with the objective to destroy the enemy artillery, with that enemy sort of entrenching themselves to defend and protect. And depending on how the outcome of day one goes for you, as the two main forces start to battle over day two in a game of breakthrough, with the number of lives you have left remaining, depending on what you did the day before. And then as you continue to push on into new locations, we're going to see things like Conquest Assault, where players continue to fight for that terrain. And assuming, you know, when we see these players end up in a giant stalemate, then they're going to enter day 4, which is Final Stand. And I mean, this is sort of tired, muddy, no resources left. You've got just you, your squad, and one clip, and you all fight to the last man standing with the weight of the world on your shoulders.
So this is a game mode that you may
this is
never
sounding
see if your games are
incredible,
not in
man.
a stalemate. You may never get to that 4th map and 4th story then.
Exactly.
That's an exciting way to play the game. I want to know when we can see more of that.
2 weeks. EA Play, Los Angeles. You get hands-on multiplayer for the first time if you're there.
So even the reveal of Grand Operations spans across multiple events.
Team Bowden, welcome back to the
Nice
stream.
one, guys. I have to say, I heard you guys say that co-op is back, and that's one of my favorite aspects of Battlefield 1. Lars, can you tell me more about that mode?
I definitely can. I mean, I'm happy to say that for the first time since Battlefield 3, co-op is back, and we're calling it Combined Arms. And here it's yet another way to experience that Battlefield sandbox, you know, next to our war stories and the multiplayer. And what we want to do here is to allow you and up to 3 players to go online and step into those shoes of the Pathfinders, those paratroopers that go in behind enemy lines. And here you really only have the soldier next to you, maybe not Brian, but the soldier next to you to rely upon as you move forward, since, you know, getting detected might mean death. And you will soon be struck by resource scarcity. You need to find the tools and find your way to the objective. So stakes are high, and you need to kind of assess, can I push through, or do we need to extract early? It's kind of win or lose. It's up to you.
I've been a huge fan of war stories, the single-player campaign in Battlefield 1. What I truly enjoyed about it was I felt like I was learning about the stories behind the war and playing through the stories of the war, and it didn't always end well. And what I loved is because of that history element, like for instance, I told my little brother, I said, hey, if Mom ever catches you playing, just say this is a history class that you're doing on the console. And then what I'd do is I'd tell my mom he was going to do that so she would know that I was always her favorite. And what was great was seeing the story. Lars, like, how is single player going to change in Battlefield 5?
Don't tell this to my kids. Well, are they changing? I mean, to me, I'm happy that you like the war stories. And for us, the war stories are really our opportunity to put the war into perspective. It's really about those human and untold stories of the war. And we try to portray those kind of real and relatable people facing epic warfare. It's Battlefield after all, so we'll be talking a lot here today about the gameplay improvements. So player agency is key, so you can create your own Battlefield moments. And at the bottom line, it's about allowing you to witness the Second World War, but through the eyes of the men and women that changed the world.
Yeah, I mean, as you can see here, I mean, this is one of the war stories that we're going to be talking about first. I mean, this is our Norderlys story. This is the story of a young woman who is part of the Norwegian resistance fighters fighting the German occupation during World War II. I mean, this is an exploration of emotion and feelings. It's a family story. Right? You know, and this not only sort of really grounds the players in the reality, but sort of sets the context of the World War II that we're trying to create at DICE.
It's not often that you find stories that connect with the emotion of the characters in the story. Instead of just focusing on the explosions and the gunfire, you see that look in her eyes. You want to know what she's thinking, what she's experiencing in that story. Why was it so important for you to focus on the people behind the stories from war?
Well, I think it's important to tell, you know, sort of believable and sort of honest stories and really sort of set the context and sort of maintain that connection to the world that we're trying to create. I think it's important for people to understand where we're coming from and what our particular take is on World War II.
So what we're going to do right now is we're going to go back to Daniel now to cover what you'll take to the battlefield with you.
In Battlefield 5, we're aiming to mirror the immense arsenal of the Second World War. This was a period that saw an explosion in terms of innovation when it comes to weapons and vehicles. You will get to fly iconic airplanes, engage in incredible tank battles, and also unleash secret weapons from World War II. Weapons that are powerful enough to turn the tide of any battle. And with the new fortification system, you can be more strategic than ever in how you choose to defend or advance through the terrain. Back to you guys.
You know, in playing Battlefield, I know everyone in the audience will agree with me, people at home as well. I've always been impressed by the level of realism in the game.
Civil War's a good idea.
I remember once I was playing with a friend who served in Special Forces, and we were talking about our favorite guns, and I was talking about the recoil and what I liked about the sights versus other guns. And he turned to me at one point and he said, "Oh, where did you serve?" And I felt embarrassed because I was like, "Oh, Battlefield 3, that's where I was." And instead of him being angry, he was like, "I didn't know that there was a game that was that immersive, something that really was as true to real without being a war simulation as possible." Guys, tell me about some of your favorite weapons in the game, some of the new vehicles that will be available in Battlefield 5.
I think at first, just by going back to this era, the pool of hardware that we can choose from is immense. There's so much there. And for me, being a vehicle guy, it's really quite a simple choice. It's the Tiger 1.
Ooh,
it's Tiger 1 tank.
Jeez.
I think it's the most iconic tank from this era. I just think it's amazing.
What do you like about it? That's a weird choice for me.
Have you seen it? I think it's the best.
What, like the looks?
A bit, but also
Are you saying that? Are you checking out a tank?
Have you been in a battle with that?
Yeah, but I've never looked at it. I'm like, if I'm on the outside, I'm dying. If I'm on the inside, I'm concentrating. When are you looking? When are you doing this?
15
Try
minutes for the official trailer.
And just
Welcome
run
to the
around the
stream,
tank
buddy.
dying, and everyone's going to be like, who's that guy looking at the tank?
It's come on, it's beautiful.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, good.
So Andreas is a tank guy. Mr. Battlefield Laws, how about you?
I'm with you, Trevor.
Yeah, you think he's weird. I know. Yeah.
We've been trying to hide it. But now it's out. No, the fact that I'm also a support player. I can't hit the barn from the inside, so I need the big clips. And for me, the MG42 is really the weapon I play in the playtest.
Right, my man.
It has that iconic sound that, you know, it sends fear all over the map. And another part of it is the new kind of system which Daniel talked about for high-caliber weapons. So previously, I could make the same impact as a pistol, basically. But this time around, it comes with a punch. So where the pistol gets stuck in the wall, I can rip through. So I can finally make a difference on the battlefield.
Hashtag no more knocking. I like this.
Yes.
All right, so we've got a tank guy. We've got a weapons guy. Ryan?
Well, sort of embarrassing to admit, unlike Lars, I can't hit a barn, period. So for me, it's the toolbox. In Battlefield 1, all players had a gas mask. In Battlefield 5, we're going to replace that gas mask with a toolbox. So that means I can run around the battlefield with my toolbox, setting up fortifications, and sort of really changing the dynamic of the battlefield so that these guys who can actually hit something, I can offer some value on the playing field.
Wow,
Wait. So
that sounds
fortifications,
crazy.
you just skimmed over that, but what is fortifications?
Well, I mean, this as a support player, I mean, I think this is something you really love. It's something I think is a great addition to the game. It really allows you to sort of, for players who want to focus on the objective. I mean, this is something you can sort of pull out your toolbox. You can build reinforcements. You can reinforce buildings that Andreas has destroyed with his tank. You can build foxholes and set up machine guns so people like Lars can sit there and camp out at choke points. I mean, this is going to change the strategic way people play, both as attackers and defenders.
Was that in response to the gaming community? Because I know as a Battlefield gamer, I always wanted what I didn't have. So first I was going, hey guys, I need destruction. I need places to fall apart. And then at some point I was like, too much destruction. Like there's nothing left. Was this a response?
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of esteemed players in here in the studio today and in the community overall who, at some point, especially when we're testing, we came to a point where the level was leveled. The world was leveled and you couldn't advance. So basically, this is to counter that and give you an additional kind of toolbox to rebuild. And then you and I can come in as heroes again, and they fortify. We come there and we add an extra heavy machine gun or an AA gun. So it's kind of teamwork once again, and we are the celebrated heroes.
We are the celebrated heroes we deserve to be. I like that, Lars.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now, now that we've learned about the tools, let's hear about the company. Here to tell us more, please welcome Natalie Eek.
Trevor, and yes, the company is something that is completely new to Battlefield 5. It's your personal collection of customized soldiers, weapons, and vehicles that you can tailor and grow as you play. The company is the heart and soul of your personal experience, and the choices you make here for your company actually matters. Not only will your choices affect the way you look, but also how your weapons and vehicles play. As you squad up with your friends, make sure to pick a soldier that complements the rest of your squad to take on the battle ahead. And during the game, adapt to the changing circumstances by calling your company and bring in the right soldier, weapon, or vehicle to suit your situation. Back to you, Trevor.
Andreas, that really sounds awesome. Tell me more about the company and how it works.
That's an interesting feature.
You know, I know from my years in Battlefield that the group that really plays together stays together.
No, the company is something that we're super excited about. For the first time, you can now create your own personal experience with the soldiers you take onto the battlefield. It's really up to you to decide how you want them to play and also how they look. So as you keep playing and you get better, your soldiers will get better with you.
So give me an example of how this would impact me as a support class.
So if you take your support class player you want, and you start playing with that soldier, and you start progressing him, you're going to unlock a set of new abilities, new perks, and sort of these new exotic ways to play the game as a support class, and then unlock new weapons for yourself to play with. You take that machine gun that Lars loves so much, and you level that machine gun up. You make the choices that matter, and then you decide, well, I think this needs its own custom paint job. So you sort of make that machine gun, really make it your own, and then you go in and you grab that sort of iconic support outfit that you really want to wear going going into battle. You jump in with some friends and off you go.
You know, it's funny you brought up customization, because I've always believed in Battlefield the team is important, but looking badass is the most important thing. I think anyone who's been in war can agree with this.
Yeah, boy.
Please tell me that I can customize my look to be properly badass in the Battlefield.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, if it's worth doing looking good.
Right.
So I think, you know, part of the tactical gameplay that comes with Battlefield, I mean, what we want to do is give you the ability to create your own personal identity. So, you know, no more anonymous soldiers. You know, this is your soldiers in their boots going into battle. Their own weapons, customized the way that you want to do it, the gear that you want them to wear. I mean, this is going to feel like it's your own personal arsenal.
And obviously, I want to get as much of that arsenal as I can possibly get. How do I even begin getting all of this gear?
You play the game. I mean, for what we want players.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Ice cubes, and everybody in the platoon could have beards. If you can customize your soldier's appearance, everybody's got to have beards. No premium pass, guys. Can you hear me? I don't know what to do, guys. You can hear me, but you can't hear the live stream. No more premium, so you can hear it. Can you hear it, guys, or not? Is it still gone? Guys, can you hear the stream yet or not? Does it come back on? Does the audio come back on? No? Oh my god. How's that? Is it back? Is it back on yet, guys? Can you hear it again or... Still no, is it? Nope. Is it back on yet? Can you hear it again now? Oh God, still no. I'm not too sure what's gone on here, guys. Let me just have a look. I'll set up a new one, maybe.